Yeah, the pressure's always tight, especially for the guys that are below the cutoff throughout any of these playoff rounds. But especially with the randomness of the ROVAL, you never know what to expect there. And we saw that last year, late in the going with those restarts, and it was pretty chaotic. So it's going to be a fun one. Everybody's got to tune in, check it out. I would say the toughest turn on the ROVAL is actually turn one. We kind of saw it last year as you're coming down that front straightaway, especially on restarts. You just don't know what the grip level of your car has and the tires have. As you get older on tires, you start to lose the turnability that you have to be able to make it through that corner. And it's really, really flat, and it actually kind of heads downhill. So you're losing grip as you're getting into that corner.
You know, the last couple of laps at the Roval was just really trying to get a little bit of a gap and not make a mistake. You know, that track is so technical, especially in the infield, and so slippery, and it's just really, really easy to miss your line or make a mistake, get wide in one of those corners. So just trying not to give it away, and made it all the way to the final corners before, obviously, the 48 made his move, spun out, and came across and hit us. Definitely a tough way to end it, but it was cool to be in the running for the first one. Really wish we could have won it. Hopefully this is our time this year. Yeah, I think with playoff points, you kind of, as the round goes, you kind of figure that out. And, you know, I think going into an elimination race, whether you have to be aggressive or whether you can just try to have a good, solid day. We've seen it before. Guys know they have to win or have to finish, in the top few spots to make it through. They take more chances. And you just strategize and try to play it out, the best you can.
Yeah, the preparation for road courses changes quite a bit, and I think a lot of times we try to rely on simulators and things like that to try to get myself as a driver kind of in that mode. But there's also we only raced there once. It's not like anybody has the place figured out. We see things happen throughout the same year. Going to a racetrack in the spring and coming back in the fall. How different we change things. And here's a case where it's been a whole year and we've only been there once, so you can only imagine how different everyone's setups are going to be from last time.
We always look forward to going to road courses at Hendrick Motorsports. Our cars are always really strong, so looking forward to getting to the ROVAL. We ran really strong there last year, and just always something we look forward to. I feel like as a driver I struggle with it a little bit, but the car makes up the rest.
Well, I think the ROVAL is its own animal. It's got such slow, tight sections on the infield that are very treacherous, very narrow, easy to get in trouble, easy to wreck, hard to pass in. And then it's got the big, wide open spaces where you pull back up on the racetrack very, very fast. So it's super hard to compare it to any other track.
It helps your confidence. Anytime you win at a racetrack and you come back the next time, your confidence is high just because you feel like you know what to do now, and you kind of know, you have a better idea how to get around there. So anytime you can get one at any racetrack, it helps you out. But there for sure, at road courses, just because they're so different from what we do normally, I think that really boosts your confidence a lot going back to a road course.
The ROVAL's new backstretch chicane is going to be an interesting challenge. I feel like it's going to be very slow and you're really tight quarters, so I'm sure you're going to have the ability to outbrake someone into it and try to get a position on them.
I would say the ROVAL is definitely more mentally draining than it is physically. It's just a very unique racetrack, you could say, that's very off-cambered in a lot of different spots. It's just very unique, I could say. So definitely the addition of the new chicane on the back makes it more legit to where you have to slow down, and it's not just a corner you kind of blow through. So anything can happen there. It's obviously, it seems like it's a wild card that everyone's a little bit nervous over. But hopefully we come out of there unscathed and move on to the next round.
Well, the ROVAL's it's a unique racetrack, but it's not quite as unique as it was last year. So the fact that we have some information to go to the simulator and be a little bit more prepared than we were last year will probably take a little bit of that anticipation for us and that anxiety away of not really knowing how it's going to race. Now, the flip side to that is the fact that, you know, it's still going to be a physical race. It's still going to have the potential to have things get mixed up. So it's definitely different than things that we do on a week-to-week basis. And having a road course, you know, the style of the ROVAL is different, and definitely have to figure out exactly what we need to do through the new chicane. But it's definitely probably going to be, you know, the same old style of the ROVAL that you saw last year.
The new chicane at the backstretch at the ROVAL is going to change things a lot. Last year we were going through there really fast, and it wasn't really an opportunity to pass cars because there was no braking zone. Well, now there's a heavy braking zone with a really tight left-hand corner before the into the chicane. So it's going to change things drastically.
Well, hopefully, you're in a good position coming in. That's the best way to, not have any pressure at the ROVAL. So hopefully that's the case. It'd be nice to even have a win or two before then. So I feel like those things are within reach.
It's a race like no other race, and it's the same. So because it's different, but it's the same amount of points. Realistically, the same amount of effort, same amount of teamwork, and everything else should go into it. So it's different like every other race, being different from Martinsville or Talladega or whatever, but the opportunity is exactly the same.
To me, the toughest turn is the back straightaway chicane. It's a matter of how deep you can really drive in there, and then this year it's going to be changed around, so we'll have to find new braking markers and maybe an opportunity to get some passes done back there.
Braking for turn one, or braking earlier for turn one on a restart. Last year I felt like we were going to win the race, and Brad and I just went in there a little too deep, and all of us just washed up the track. So, yeah, learn from your mistakes from last year and just do better this year.
Yeah, well, you got to be aggressive, but obviously you can't make a mistake. The ROVAL really kind of baits you into being more aggressive, but quickly turns into a mistake. And there's so many places you feel like you can go faster and make more speed, but with that comes that risk. So you have to push, and especially if you're up there going for the win, you're going to push hard and try to get it, but you also got to make sure you're not putting yourself in a bad spot.